MMA fighters struggle with retirement. It seems to be the case more times than not when fighters retire. They end up coming back into the sport and not being as successful, or leave the sport completely and not know what to do afterwards. Maybe even leave and then get into bad habits. And I've come up with my own philosophy on why this might happen. Now, we are going to be focusing more on MMA fighters because I am an MMA channel. Most recently, Dustin Poirier talked about this on the Joe Rogan podcast. He says he's put everything into fighting for the last 20 years, and now he wakes up and he struggles with not knowing who he is because he thought of himself as the fighter. And now that fighting's gone, it doesn't exist, he really doesn't know who he is anymore.
It's like I'm relearning who I am. Like I always knew fighting was just something I did. It wasn't who I was. But after 20 years of doing it, even though you know that and you think that, like fuck, I don't know who I am without fighting.
How long did it take?
I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a lot of things.
Right.
But like fighting was a cloud in my mind that never went away for 20 years.
Right.
And now I wake up and it's gone. Like what do I do? I'm still trying to find out, Joe. I don't know.
Now, Poirier refers to fighting as a cloud that he's been living in for the past 20 years, and now that it's gone, he doesn't know who he is. We can make sense of this by thinking of it as a fighter is in the cloud, in the fog, blinded by what's really all around him. The fog blocks so much vision that the fighter doesn't really know all that the world has to offer. So the fighter stays in the cloud, in the fog, focusing on survival in that cloud and fog. But when the fog fades, when the cloud goes away, a whole landscape, a whole field of opportunity and just being able to see what life really is, it's more than that cloud that you were stuck in. It's overwhelming and it's confusing because, well, you can't really live the life that you lived since the cloud's gone. Though Poirier compared it to this, which is a beautiful way to look at it, I interpret it more as a black hole. Fighters give their all into something that just takes. It doesn't give back anything. But what it does is the black hole grows the more you feed it. When fighters put all their being into this black hole, it grows bigger. But it continues to try to take. With fighters specifically, you can interpret this black hole as ego. As it grows, it becomes more fragile. And why is that? Well, the bigger it is, and if something crashes the ego, well, the crash out's worse. Not only that, you're giving yourself to something that society nowadays typically rejects: violence. Culture now is trying to push violence out as much as it possibly can. So when you get back into this culture, when you are from a violent culture, there's really not a place for you in it. It feels empty, and you feel rejected. When fighters feed the black hole, that's what their purpose is in that moment of life. Feed the black hole, feed the ego, win, get better, get more skilled, prove that you're better than the opponent, prove that you're the better fighter, that you're the best fighter. But when the body stops doing what the mind wants it to do, then you have to sit down and talk with yourself and realize that it's time to hang up the gloves. But when you do that, the void's gone. The void just took away from you. It didn't give anything back. You gave everything to it, and it just took. And now it feels like there's a hole in what was once you. That's the problem when you feed the ego. It doesn't give anything back. Competitors, fighters, they just don't know what to do with this hole in their life now, in their self. So some of them may turn to drugs, to partying, to drinking, to addiction.
It's like a gift and a curse, man. It's like you have to be all in at something. Those kind of people who are built like that, whether it's fighting or drinking or whether it's good or bad, you're going all in. It's dangerous.
The problem, yeah. The problem is like we see with Connor. When they don't have the fighting, then they go all in with the other things. Yeah.
Right.
Now, Dustin Poirier and Joe Rogan briefly talk here about Conor McGregor. He is an interesting case because he's been out of fighting for a while, and I don't think people has really looked at him as a fighter for a while as well. He's created things outside of fighting. Conor McGregor is a businessman. He's a promoter. Still, he put so much time, so much dedication into fighting, and he still feels a hole to where he has to come back, he has to train, he wants to get back in there. He can't help himself because that's who he was. That's who brought him to be where he is now. That's where he put so much thought, so much time into, is fighting.
There's nothing else I can think. I don't think about nothing else. If And that's it. I'm just curious, curiously fascinated with it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fighting. You know what I mean? And that is why. You know what I mean? To be truly
Is
good
that
at something,
nearly?
all you've got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
Um, I don't know. Do I look unhealthy? Take a look at this physique. I'm in phenomenal shape, in body and mind. To me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. To me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day of your life, 9 to 5, in an office or in a, you know what I mean? That's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do, and that's why I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? That's why it's become a career for me, because I love it. I love what I do. So I don't think it's unhealthy. I I feel good in my mind. I mean, it's my life.
So even people who have ways out of it, who have more than fighting, still struggle with the hole that was left from fighting. They struggle to integrate themselves back into society, a society where violence isn't really accepted. And fighters themselves mention it. They don't look at people as, well, I don't want to say equals, but for lack of a better term, equals. They look at people like civilians, similar to how ex-military look at people like civilians. Because the average civilian, the average person, doesn't go through combat like people like them have went through. It's just something that not a lot of people will ever fully know. And fighters such as Dustin Poirier, Rampage Jackson, Sean Strickland, they speak on this, on how they look at people as civilians.
Fighting was always, for me, always pulled everything together, you know? That's why, like, retiring is scary, man. Days are long. I have a lot of time. I don't have to get ready for a fight. I don't, you know.
You're still a young man, too. You still have a whole lot of life ahead of you.
37, man.
Yeah, so it makes you think, like, what do I do now? What do I do with my future? What do I do? What do you want to do?
Dude, I kind of got, like, for a week or so, I wouldn't say depressed, but I kind of got into, like, a funk. Like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? Every day I would wake up for the last 20 years. How can I be a better fighter? What's new in fitness? How can I push myself? I want to be the champion, and then boom, you lay the gloves down and you wake up and you're a fucking civilian. Like,
Right.
it feels crazy, you know?
And this could also be attributed to culture shock. Going from sparring and fighting and grappling, wrestling every day to now waking up and realizing that you don't have to do that now to make a living kind of can just make a fighter feel like their sense of purpose is gone now. They did what they came to do, and that's that. I guess the question is now, how does a fighter get over this hump in their life? There's many different things. You could look for religion, you could look for your skills and other things. Like many warriors back in the past time, after they were done, they would, become farmers, become politicians, things like that. One of the primary things to do is not just to try to find something to fill the void, it's to try to look inwards and realize that the thing you do is not who you are. Of course, you're going to want to do something to fill that gap of something that kept you busy before. You're going to want to fill something in to, keep you busy now. And that's completely up to the person. But I think when something has been taken from you that you thought that's who you are, as I am this person, insert name that does this thing, it's a really good time to start soul searching and really explore who you are, not the name that was given to you, but who you are behind all of that. I think that is the most important thing to go along with whatever you try to replace to keep yourself busy. Because the bottom line is nothing's going to come close to fighting. It's not. It's like one of the only few things you can come to something that was primal in us. The next thing I could think of off the top of my head is maybe running, but that's doesn't include all of the pain, blood, sweat, and tears that fighting does. And I think that's why really finding yourself as a person is important to go along with this and not just trying to find something to throw in the hole since fighting isn't there anymore. And whatever that thing is that whoever I may be talking to right now chooses to do, you have to be sure that it doesn't just feed the ego, because the ego doesn't give back. It'll just take away. I said that 1,000 times, but that's something I can't stress enough. Make sure that it makes you feel good inside, not because it boosts your ego up, boosts your pride up, but connects with the inner you. I think that's going to wrap up this short little talk. This is a problem that I'm seeing just all the time with fighters. And I'm really hoping that they're able to get over that lump and realize that there's more to life than fighting. As awesome as fighting is. But that's going to wrap it up, and I'll talk to y'all later.